Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, of course we do have here in Egypt a number of annual festivals featuring theater performances, and we are going to have ISIS festival from the 25th to the 2nd of October. We promised that we are going to tackle it on time, but today, as we do have a lot to speak about regarding the UN General Assembly and regarding the very important resolutions which are going to take place, and we are going to have the conventions of the UNGA and the participants coming from all over the world to decide about the Palestinian cause and to try to find an end to the Israeli chaotic situation, the arrogance and the atrocities of the Israeli side. We are going to cover this, and we are going, by the way, to follow up minute by minute on Nile TV International what's going on in New York, as Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati are there, and they are going to give the Egyptian speech in front of a number of gatherings and to hold a number of meetings with and bilateral meetings with their counterparts. We are going to now cover with my dear guest live here in the studio the recognition of a Palestinian state by a number of Western countries, and also to try to think together about what's going to happen today. What are the most important topics which are going to be discussed regarding the Palestinian cause? Is something going to change? Will Israel know that it's going to be more isolated, and the international community is going finally to shoulder its responsibility regarding the Palestinian cause? This is something we are going to discuss together with my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Khater, Assistant Professor in Faculty of Mass Communication, Cairo University. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
Dr. Sarah, before going into the UNGA and the meetings in New York, how do you see the recognition of countries like Canada, like Britain, France and Belgium to recognize a Palestinian state by these countries, and the positive impact with this recognition on the ground, I mean, and on the meetings which are going to take place on the political arena in general?
Well, I think this is huge. We have been trying to reach this kind of recognition for a Palestinian state since even before 1948. So I think this is a historical day for the Palestinians, for everyone in the Arab world, that we are finally reaching an official announcement and an official recognition of a Palestinian state. After all this time, and after a severe struggle, and that's still going on, unfortunately, and an occupation that has not actually differentiated between men, women or children, civilians or military. So I think today would be a very important day in history, especially that we have countries that never recognized the Palestinian state, and they are recognizing it today. So it's huge. I think it's huge, and it will have a positive impact on the Palestinian cause.
If you permit me, Dr. Shah, I'm going to focus a little bit on the British recognition of a Palestinian state. When Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, said, I am the Prime Minister of this great country and I do recognize the Palestinian state. And they did it just after the visit of American President Donald Trump to the UK. How do you see this? How do you see the timing and after the visit of Donald Trump and just before the UNGA?
Well, first of all, coming from the UK, that brings a bell to the famous Balfour Declaration 1917. The declaration that promised a land for Jews in Palestine. So the recognition of Keir Starmer yesterday of the Palestinian state actually is a kind of correction, and they actually his Ministry of Foreign Affairs actually announced that earlier, that this is a kind of apology and a kind of correction for the Palestinian people. They needed that declaration. And like you said, coming after President Trump's visit to the UK, this is very significant, because this is a kind of insistence on UK's situation regarding the Palestinian cause, and that they really want to correct what was done before, years ago.
There are here two voices, Dr. Sarah. A voice which is saying that this recognition is only symbolic, and others would say that no, it's going to have tangible positive impacts on the ground. In your opinion, which is which?
It's a beginning. It's a beginning for the realization of a true Palestinian state on the ground.
Their
This is what I believe. Yeah, the existence, the true existence of a Palestinian state. Yeah, maybe it will take time, it will take more efforts, more diplomatic efforts, more trials in order to gain more worldwide acceptance of a Palestinian state and more worldwide recognitions of a Palestinian state, but eventually it will happen.
I'm asking this question, Dr. Sarah, because unfortunately the reaction, or the, of course, expected reaction of the Israeli side, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or his ministers, are saying, they said yesterday that, oh, this is a prize for what they call terrorism. And even Netanyahu said it bluntly, there's not going to be what they call a Palestinian state, and he even promised to continue with the illegal expansion of illegal settlements in the West Bank. How do you see this kind of arrogance, or how do you see this kind of showing disrespect to the international community in general?
Well, this is strange due to the fact that actually there was a plan years ago in 1947 for a Palestinian state. So it's very strange for me, why are they objecting right now? A Palestinian state actually existed in the UN 1947 plan for Palestine. So it's very weird that now Netanyahu and all of his government members are objecting and are rejecting the existence of a Palestinian state, because this was the original plan. So there's nothing to I don't see an objection. I don't see a way for building other settlements. This is very strange to me, and this is, of course, what we are used to from the Israeli occupation all these past years.
And to speak about the genocide war, which lasted for nearly 2 years now, killing more than 66,000 Palestinians, mostly women, children, and even minors. How this is going to be, in your opinion or in your vision, how this is going to be discussed in the UN General Assembly? Are we going only to listen to the words of condemnation and to accept that the United States denied visas to Mahmoud Abbas, and only to have him via video call or a video conference call? How do you see this also as a kind of disrespect to the Palestinian Authority or the Palestinian leader?
Well, I think it's a trial to prevent the people of Palestine from having an actual state, but I don't think these trials will succeed. I think that today will be a historical day, and the Palestinian people will finally gain one of their most important rights, having their state recognized. And then we can, of course, condemning what's happening in Gaza. Of course, it's not enough. But I think, as I said before, that today is a beginning. And I think it's the beginning of the end of a war.
Also, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Al-Madbouli, of course, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi there in New York, in addition to Foreign Minister Badr Abdelghati, and both are going to address the gatherings. How do you see the continuation of Egyptian efforts on all levels, whether on the diplomatic level and on also guaranteeing the access of humanitarian aid to the Palestinians inside the Palestinian occupied enclave?
Well, actually, on the humanitarian side, let's start with it. Egypt has done tremendous effort. Not just in the past 2 years. I think we have done a tremendous effort along the past years, starting from 1948 to now. So Egypt has always...
with 100,000 martyrs.
Yes, yes. So Egypt has always supported the Palestinian cause, has always supported the Palestinian people on the humanitarian side. Talking about the diplomatic side, since day one, since the beginning of the Gaza war in 2023, I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and all of the government members, they have been working very closely and very actively in order to ensure the return, or the Palestinian people gaining back their rights. This is Egypt's situation all along. It has never changed. This is something to be proud of, actually, because having a stable and a constant situation regarding the Palestinian cause, which is also considered in many ways a huge part of Egypt's national security. So having a stable situation in this cause specifically is very important. And I think the diplomatic efforts of Egypt is finally paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And since you mentioned that in specific, Dr. Sarah, let's go to the firm stance or the renewal of the Egyptian firm stance regarding the Palestinian cause, including this sentence in specific: the complete, full rejection of displacing the Palestinian people out of their lands and the full rejection to the liquidation of the Palestinian cause. Would you please elaborate?
Yes, I think this is the most important part of the Egyptian stance. Why? Because the displacement of Palestinian people actually terminates the possibility of any state being recognized. So if the Palestinian people are displaced from their homeland, that means there's no Palestine anymore. How can you call for a Palestinian state or a recognition of Palestinian state if the Palestinian people, who are the landowners, are out of their land? Illogic. So I think this is the most important part of our stance in this situation, because it's very important for the Palestinian people, after all these years, to finally regain their land. This is
to regain their land and to have the right of self-determination, to have their independent Palestinian state, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, repeating all the time on the borders of the 4th of June 1967 with Eastern Al-Quds as its capital. How do you see all the time repeating the details, as if we are trying all the time to remind the international community of what we had before, and to say, if you agree with me on that, or to add to this, if you permit me, to add to what was said before. What about living in peace together in a two-state solution? Why this was not repeated except in the past few months in specific?
Well, I think this is important in order to pave the way for a Palestinian state to actually exist in reality. The repetition of the Egyptian stance is very important during the past 2 years specifically, in order to remind the world that we will stand firm against any plans for displacement of Palestinian people. This is very important for Egypt, first of all, because we have always been advocates of the rights of the Palestinian people, and number two, for the Egyptian national security as well. So I believe that we will always maintain our stance for the Palestinian cause, and our stance in this cause specifically is actually gaining a lot of support for Palestinian people worldwide, and for the establishment of the state of Palestine finally worldwide. So this is great, actually.
And to add to what you have just said, only few days ago, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the Spanish king, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the Singaporean president. And in both cases here we're talking about a European royalty and an Asian president. And in addition, of course, to discussing bilateral ties, the Palestinian cause was high on top of the agenda. The main cause. How do you see the keenness of Egypt to discuss the Palestinian cause with the leaders from all over the world? I mean, it's not only focusing on the mediators or the Arab and Islamic countries, but also moving to here with Spain to Europe, and with Singapore to Asia.
Because it's a cause that's worth supporting. I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made this cause on top of Egypt's agenda during the past 2 years specifically, and of course before, but the past 2 years it was very important to maintain this cause on top of Egypt's agenda, and to call for further support, for further international support. And I can recall also President Macron's visit to Egypt.
And a very important phone call also took place just yesterday between the president and his his French counterpart regarding this issue. Dr. Sarah, today in New York, there is going to be, let's call it a turning point,
Yes,
for the future
exactly.
of the Palestinians. Is it going to be, unfortunately, ink on paper, or it's going to be a resolution which is going to be implemented on the ground with pressure from those countries and their peoples, because those leaders came to New York after witnessing large demonstrations, maybe for the first time in their history, for the sake of the Palestinian cause?
That's
Please
true.
elaborate.
I think hopefully it's not going to be ink on paper. I think it's going to be a beginning for the Palestinian people to officially claim their rights in international conferences and in the UN, even if they are prevented or even they're not given a visa to enter New York. But I think this paves the way for them to raise their voices and further claim their rights, which they will eventually take. So it's only a matter of time right now.
A matter of time, and a matter of continuation with effort exerted on the ground by all sides, except Israel and the United States. But here, if you permit me, Dr. Sarah, I want to focus a little bit more on the positive impact of the peoples, of the demonstrators in the street, of all age categories, from students to pensioners. Tell me more about this impact.
Well, actually, you're right. We're seeing protesters worldwide, in Europe, for example, I think in the US as well. They're protesting against the atrocities being done against the Palestinian people in Gaza. It's unbelievable, the massacres and the atrocities that are going on right now. No one can take this. We are all human beings, so here we have to defend our humanity. So I think the demonstrations are exerting pressure on the leaders of these countries, or the leaders of the countries where the demonstrations occur, because they're finally seeing or witnessing their own people speak up for Palestinian people. So I think this is the perfect timing for a recognition of a Palestinian state, where all the world, from the human side and the political side, are actually standing pro-Palestine.
Yeah. Dr. Sarah, how do you see the importance or the positive impact which was played, and I think it's going to continue to be played by the soft power? I mean, for the very first time we saw in Venice Film Festival, for example, the participation of movies on the Palestinian cause. We see movie stars and superstars on the red carpets in different occasions wearing their Palestinian kufiya, showing their respect to the Palestinian cause. Footballers, international figures. How do you see this also as part and parcel of efforts exerted from all sides to prove that the Palestinian cause now is on top of the world priorities?
Well, I think soft power has played a very important role during this crisis. Starting from 2023 till now, we have seen not just movies and raising voices in film festivals worldwide. We have seen influencers talking about Palestinian people and talking about the people of Gaza. And I have to give a shout out to Egyptian influencers specifically, who took the cause from day one on social media worldwide. They made live videos and they talked about Palestine in general, not just Gaza. They talked about the Palestinian cause, and they tried to make the world see where the Palestinian people are right now and how it's important to give them their rights. It's important for all humanity. So I think soft power was very important in making everyone hear the Palestinian call.
Well, Dr. Sarah, as usual, I enjoyed our discussion. Thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you.
Have a very good day.
You too. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 21st of September is the day of peace. We hope that today, the 22nd of September, is going to be the practical day of peace, having the two-state solution implemented on the ground, and to live in peace together. I think this is the hope of all of us as human beings. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more updates. A reminder, we are going on Nile TV International. Follow up minute by minute all the events and all the sessions, all the meetings which are going to take place there in New York with the UN General Assembly and Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati, they are there and they are going to address the gatherings introducing the Egyptian vision regarding a number of very important files, and on top of which is the Palestinian cause. Well, this was Nermeen Abdurrahman. Many thanks for watching.